Did you know that thieves in ancient Egypt faced a horrifying form of torture, nose cutting? The convicts were not allowed to use any kind of pain relief during the execution of the punishment. After having their noses cut off, the thieves were sent to a city called Rhinocolura. Life in Rhinocolura was seen as hell due to the constant shortage of food and water. Additionally, prisoners governed themselves by jungle law, making the weak victims of brutal violence. Even if a convict managed to escape from Rhinocolura, their disfigured, noseless face would betray them to those around them. They would soon be caught and brought back. Many thieves, after being sent to Rhinocolura, could not endure the harsh living condition, so they decided to commit suicide.
Did you know that one of the most terrifying punishments of the medieval Viking era was called the blood eagle? This ritual was reserved for the Vikings' arch enemies. The victim's back would be torn open. The victim's hands and feet would be tightly secured. The executioner would use a sharp knife to stab into the tailbone and move upward along the ribs, pulling them apart in the shape of eagle wings. Each rib would be carefully separated from the spine. The Vikings would rub salt into the wounds to increase the pain, keeping the victim conscious. Finally, the executioner would pull the lungs out and hang them over the victim's ribs to create two bloody wings, causing prolonged agony before death.
Did you know about the Brazen Bull? It was a brutal torture and execution device used by the ancient Greeks. The Brazen Bull was designed to resemble a real bull in shape and size. It was cast entirely from bronze, hollow inside with a door on one side. The victim would be stripped naked and placed inside the bull through the door. A fire would be lit underneath, gradually heating the bronze bull and cruelly roasting the victim alive inside. Furthermore, the Brazen Bull was specially designed to transform and amplify the victim's screams into the sound of a roaring bull emanating from its mouth. The agonizing cries of the victim inside were turned into the bellowing of an enraged bull, creating a grim and ironic spectacle for the onlookers.
Did you know about rat torture? This barbaric form of torture has been used in various civilizations and historical periods. This method of torture employs rats to torment the victim by encouraging them to attack and eat the victim alive. The victim would be tightly bound hand and foot to a table. The rats would be placed inside a metal cage, which is then inverted onto the victim's body, typically on the chest or abdomen. Next, a heat source, often fire or hot coals, is used to heat the metal cage from above. Due to the heat, the rats will begin to panic and frantically seek an escape route. Instinctively, they start gnawing at the softest parts of the victim's body. With their sharp claws and teeth, the rats will then madly bite and burrow into the victim's flesh, including internal organs. The wounds on the victim's body are further aggravated by the insertion of hot coals to intensify the pain.
Did you know about death by impalement? Originating from ancient cultures such as Babylon and Assyria, the victim's hands would be tightly bound, and a cut would be made at the anus for men or the vagina for women, with a handful of paste inserted to stop the bleeding. Then, a sharpened stake coated with grease would be slowly driven deeper into the victim's body until it pierced through and protruded from the chest, shoulder, or head. Finally, the victim would be stood upright and left to die. In many cases, the torture would involve not driving the stake too deep into the victim's body or avoiding damaging vital organs, and cause the victim to endure excruciating pain for many hours, sometimes even days, before dying. Additionally, impalement could also be performed horizontally, from front to back, through the abdomen, chest, or directly through the heart to the back, or vice versa.